Hi, everybody. It's Beth Ienni, licensed therapist and food addiction recovery coach. And today I want to talk to you about recovery in uncertain times. And by uncertain times, I mean COVID-19. Again, if you're joining me live, my name is Beth Ienni. I'm a licensed therapist and food addiction recovery coach. And I want to talk to you about recovery during uncertain times. The news lots of times refers to the pandemic and COVID-19 as uncertain times. And that's because a lot of us are basically feeling like our lives are on hold. Whether we're concerned about the health issues or we're concerned about the financial and work issues, this situation is impacting us emotionally, and a lot of us are on edge. We're not really sure if we're okay financially. We're not sure if we're okay physically. We're just not sure about the people we care about. A lot of projects just seem to be on hold. Life just feels like it's on hold and it feels uncertain, right? So, how can we be in recovery during uncertain times? Okay. Now, I will say that a lot of food addicts tend to be cautious by nature. They happen to be people who like things to feel in control, and when things feel out of control, their instinct may be to freeze, just to stay in place, just wait and see. But we want to be careful because we want to look at the evidence. Is this actually working? Is this actually a good way to think about your life? Is being cautious always the best thing? So we have to look very carefully about what you're doing and is this working? Okay? And there's also a tendency among food addicts to be very perfectionistic. They like things to feel under control, and they like to feel that they're doing things the right way. So when things feel in chaos, they're thinking, well, this can't be the right time to get into recovery because I'm feeling chaotic. But I want to bust that myth that you have to sort of get your ducks in a row and have life all figured out before you can be in recovery. It's actually the other way around. Once you're in recovery, you can get your ducks in a row. But I know that's really hard because if you're in fear and you're feeling overwhelmed, it feels like you're stuck. Okay? So let's talk more about this topic because I really think this is an important topic for food addicts who unfortunately may be suffering from frog in the pot syndrome, where they're actually waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for the perfect time for life to settle down enough to get into recovery, and they never get into recovery. It's like waiting for the perfect time to fall in love or the perfect time to have a baby. If you've done either one of those things, you probably have figured out there is no perfect time to fall in love or have a baby. Okay? But the fact is that these are beautiful things, right? And so I think food addiction is very misunderstood. We think we're overeating because of stress, and so we're thinking logically, if the stress could just die down, we could get into recovery. So let me explain to you why that's the opposite of what's actually happening. So again, if you don't know me, I'm a licensed therapist. I've spent a lot of time helping people with depression, anxiety, overwhelm, how to manage stress. And what I find over and over again is that people are very blinded to the fact that what they put in their mouths is actually changing their brain chemistry. And so a lot of what I do is educational. I try to teach people, hey, look, if you drink alcohol, that's going to make you more depressed, right? If you drink coffee, it's going to make you more anxious and more sleepless and more irritable. Now, of course, you may be the kind of person who can drink alcohol in moderation or who can have caffeine in moderation. I'm sure, we all have different body chemistries, but I like to educate people that everything you put in your mouth changes your brain chemistry, and you might be more sensitive to these things, right? So we have to look at not only how alcohol and caffeine and other drugs affect our mental health, but we have to look at how food affects our mental health. There are a lot of ingredients that we're putting in our bodies that directly change the way we think and feel. And so, believe it or not, that can make life feel more overwhelming than it even is. And it can make us much more anxious about everything. It might make us more foggy and unable to make decisions. And of course, if you're a food addict, you know that your health is going downhill, and this in and of itself causes a lot of mental health problems for you. And your inability to sometimes earn money and so forth causes a lot of the stress in your life. Your irritability may be impacting your relationships, or your inability to have relationships, right? Impacts your relationship status, right? So when you locate the problems within yourself more, that gives you the power to deal with your life more intelligently. So I hope you're following this. So here's the irony of addiction recovery, is that when things feel their worst, that's actually the best time to get into recovery. Okay, so I want you to just inhale and exhale and think about this for a minute. When things feel their worst, that's actually the best time to get into recovery. You may have heard the expression, you have to hit bottom. What does that mean? That means that you feel that your life is just about as bad as it's ever been. And you're scared to death that it may not get better. That's the time to recover. And I know that feels very counterintuitive when you've been telling yourself, but I have to get my ducks in a row. I have to get my ducks in a row. You can't. You're an addict. Okay? You're out of control. You're not going to get your ducks in a row by yourself. Every alcoholic and addict needs to face that. That the reason why your life is so out of control is really not because of COVID-19. That may be part of what's going on with you. But for example, if you're having job insecurity because of COVID-19, wouldn't it be less stressful if you knew that you had a ton of confidence in yourself, both physically and mentally, to learn a new job, no problem, to get a new job, no problem, that you had that mental clarity and the physical energy and the gusto to just go out there and get a new job, figure out something to do online. I can figure this out, no problem. Well, of course, if you're a food addict, you can't say that. You know that your health is going downhill. You know your brain's not working well. You're feeling hopeless and helpless. So, of course, the job market is going to freak you out 10 times more because you know that you're in an insecure situation. So I hope this is making sense. So what does it feel like to be ready for recovery? It actually feels very chaotic. It does. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world. The fact is that when you're hitting bottom, yeah, you probably are facing the fact that even if the job market is perfect, you may not be able to work because of your health. You're upset because maybe your marriage isn't working. Maybe you feel so bad about yourself physically and mentally that you can't be intimate with your husband. You're irritable. You're arguing. He's driving you crazy. Your other relationships just feel overwhelming to you. You just can't feel good. You can't be present. You can't do activities with people. You're having to say no to things. You're avoiding people. Okay. You're feeling exhausted, depressed, hopeless, helpless, foggy. That's what hitting bottom feels like. It feels bad. So, you may even be in a financial crisis in terms of before COVID-19 hit. You might be the person who is running up debts, having trouble with compulsive addictive spending because you're in a brain fog, because you're not dealing with the root issue, which is your food addiction, okay? So please be careful of the perfectionism of waiting, because the perfectionism of waiting with food addiction equals death or worse. It's ruining the quality of your life, and it may lead to early death. This idea of I have to wait until life feels perfect and everything is feeling calm for me to take action. Okay? I really get it that people in general and addicts in particular really love to cling to false securities, false senses of control. It feels familiar to restart that commercial weight loss program that you've already failed, 3, 4, 5, 10 times. But it's familiar and it gives you a sense of control. I can count my points and track my steps, and I can weigh and measure, and I can feel in control. I can count my calories. I can exercise for this much time, and that means I can eat this much food, and it feels like you're in control of your life, but you're not, if you're honest. It may feel familiar to get back on that fitness app on your phone. It may feel familiar to go back to keto and to get to make another keto smoothie and bake some more keto cookies. It just might feel comforting to go on that diet again with your girlfriend or your sister. It might feel comforting to talk to your therapist again about the emotional problems that you think might be causing your problem, which, by the way, doesn't work. And I think you know it doesn't work, but it feels comfortable to keep repeating these familiar things over and over again, hoping against hope that somehow this is going to make sense to you. But the fact is, I'm guessing you're a smart person, and you just have to look at the facts. The facts are maybe January 1st, you made a New Year's resolution, and now it's July 22nd. Have you been able to keep the New Year's resolution, yes or no? The answer is no. You're out of control. It's not working. Whatever it is you're doing is not working. You have to face the facts, okay? Also, the last time you went to the doctor, what did he or she tell you? Are you pre-diabetic? Are you diabetic and your diabetes is out of control? Is the doctor concerned that you need more medication? Are your cholesterol numbers up? Are your blood pressure numbers up? Are you needing to take more medications? Are you in more pain? Are you less mobile? Are you more foggy? Are you more depressed? You have to be real. What are the concrete numbers telling you? And how are you really feeling? Is your digestion worse? Are you sleeping less? Are you arguing more with people? Have people expressed concern about your health? Has your employer maybe hinted around that you're not doing well? So you have to look at the actual facts that your way is not working. The irony of recovery is it's good to have a sense of urgency and a sense of danger and a sense of desperation. That's a good thing because that means you're facing the truth. The truth is you are in danger. This is urgent. And instead of waiting and being careful, which isn't working and is actually not safe for you, I know it feels safe, but it's not. You need to leap into action and get into recovery now. It's counterintuitive to you because you like waiting and doing old things that feel familiar, but that's killing you. It's very sneaky. It's killing you. And you know what? It might take a little humility for you to admit that you're out of control and that you are failing. It might be scary to admit it. It might be scary to admit that you don't actually know how to eat. I mean, think about it. You're probably an intelligent person, probably graduated high school. You probably know a thing or two about a thing or two, but you don't know how to feed yourself. That's hard to admit sometimes. I know a lot of food addicts say, I know what to do, but I don't do it. There's no way that you know what to do. There's no way because the doctors can't tell you and the commercial weight loss programs can't tell you, the therapists can't tell you, the nutritionists and the dietitians can't tell you. Of course you don't know how to eat for food addiction. No one has told you how to eat for food addiction. You can't know. Sometimes that's hard to face. That all those books that you've read and all those experts that you've talked to, they've all been wrong. And you simply don't even know how to feed yourself. That's scary. Very scary. But you know what's even more ironic than everything else that I've talked about so far is that you can actually have certainty in uncertain times. And I'll tell you how. Get to the root of your problems, get real, and then actually have good health, have sanity, mental clarity, have stability, have energy, have the ability to learn new things like a new job if you need to, have the confidence to try new things, have tons of energy, mental clarity, stop doing all the addictive brain fog spending, get along better with everyone in your life. That's how to have certainty. That's how to have control, and that's how to have real control and certainty. So that's the irony of this whole process is embrace the chaos that you're feeling. Embrace it. Act on it. Get into action and have real certainty and real control. Get control of your health. Get control of your food. Get control of your emotions and your mind. Get control of your world ultimately. There's a lot you can control. You may not be able to control what all the politicians are doing. You may not be able to control every single person in your life, but you can control your life in a lot of very significant ways. Are you ready to do that? Of course, you're going to feel unready, but do you want to? Think about it. Do you actually want to have that certainty, or are you actually sort of secretly scared to even step up and have it? The fact is, it's not going to feel right to be in recovery. It's not going to feel right to you. You're going to be scared. You're going to say you don't feel ready. You're going to say the world's too stressful. But the fact is, you are ready. You're ready to stop being in pain, to stop hating yourself, to stop feeling out of control, to stop feeling sick. You're ready. Of course, you're not going to feel ready. How could you feel ready? You have failed, what, 100 times, 1,000 times, 10,000 times every single day of your life? And how old are you? Maybe you're in your 50s or 60s or 70s and you've still failed for decades. No matter how old or young you are, of course you're going to feel like a huge failure who's not ready and who's scared to death. One of our clients actually made a wonderful statement on a session the other day to all the new people who were in the group. She said, of course you're terrified. There's no way that you could feel confident right now. You have failed so many times at this. There's no way to ever actually emotionally feel like you could ever succeed with this. But you have to have that mustard seed of faith. You have to believe in yourself. You have to know that this is not the plan. The plan is not for you to die a slow, painful, depressed death from food addiction. You know in your heart that that's not the plan, and you know in your heart there has to be a solution. So grab onto that faith, grab onto that hope, and grab onto the chance at real certainty for your future. So listen, if you're resonating with this and you know in your heart that it's really time for you to stop listening to all those emotions and start getting into action, I want you to reach out to us. We offer free calls to anyone who's serious about getting professional help for food addiction today. Not tomorrow, not when things settle down, but today. Now, I'm going to put in the comment section below a way to reach out to us, or you can just go right now to amybethcall.com. That's Amy, A-M-Y, Beth, B-E-T-H, call, C-A-L-L.com. amybethcall.com. We get on the phone with you for about an hour. We talk to you about what's going wrong with your food and your health right now. We ask you what your goals are. And we ask you some questions to find out whether you truly qualify for our services. Not everyone does. But either way, you are going to get clarity on your situation. And clarity is always going to be the first step in your recovery, facing the truth about your addiction. And we look forward to speaking with you.